On her 6th birthday, she held the gift with tears, then whispered something that froze everyone. Please stay with me as I tell you this story. And don't forget to support her channel by subscribing, liking, and sharing with your loved one. That day was supposed to be special. The living room was filled with balloons, streamers, and her daughter, Lily's favorite cartoons. Lily was turning 6, full of life, full of energy. Her cousins ran around, music played softly, and everyone looked happy. Lily wore a pink dress with tiny white flowers, and her smile lit up the whole room. She laughed, ate cake, and opened her presents one by one. Dolls, books, a drawing set. She thanked everyone, sweetly. Then came the final gift, a small box wrapped in shiny blue paper. Lily opened it slowly. Inside was a handmade bracelet, simple, colourful, with tiny plastic beads. She stared at it for a moment, her expression hard to read. Then tears began to fall from her eyes. At first, everyone thought she was just overwhelmed or touched by the gift. She held it tightly, looked up and whispered, "This is from the woman Daddy kisses when Mommy is asleep." Everything stopped. The room went silent. Conversations froze. People looked around, confused, unsure if they heard her right. Her chest tightened. Her ears rang. She looked at her daughter, hoping she'd say it was a joke or a mistake. But Lily just looked back with those innocent eyes. Honest. Serious. She slowly turned to her husband. His face lost all colour. He didn't move, didn't speak, just stood there, frozen like the rest of them. After the party, the house felt like a crime scene. The laughter was gone. The guests had left awkwardly, mumbling quick goodbyes and avoiding eye contact. Plates of uneaten cake sat on the table. Balloons floated silently, as if even they were too scared to pop. She sat Lily down gently and asked her to explain what she meant. Lily, calm but sad, repeated it clearly. "I saw Daddy kiss her 2 times. One time in the car, one time in the kitchen when you were sleeping." Her heart pounded. She wanted to believe it was just a child's misunderstanding, maybe a dream, maybe confusion. But Lily didn't seem confused. She seemed hurt. Her husband, on the other hand, played the role of the betrayed. He acted shocked, insulted, even angry. "She's 6, he shouted. "She doesn't know what she's talking about. Are you really going to trust a child over me?" But deep down, she already knew something was wrong. There had been moments, strange smells, quiet calls, late nights explained poorly. She had ignored them, for peace, for Lily, but now she couldn't ignore it anymore. She waited until he left for work the next day. She searched the bedroom, the closets, even the car. Nothing. But then she remembered the basement, the toolbox he never let her touch. Inside, tucked beneath a pile of old cables and screws, was a second phone. Her hands shook as she unlocked it. No password. The moment the screen lit up, the truth hit her like a punch to the chest. Messages, photos, videos, all from and with a woman named Dana. Long texts about missing each other. Selfies, intimate moments recorded without shame. Dana, a name she knew. The substitute teacher at Lily's kindergarten. Pretty, overly friendly at school pickups. Her stomach turned. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It was real. Her husband had betrayed her. And now, she had the proof. But instead of screaming or crying, she stood still in the basement, holding the phone tightly. Her mind wasn't thinking about heartbreak. It was already thinking about what would come next. And whatever it was, it wouldn't be quiet. She stared at the name again. Dana. Over and over, it showed up in texts and videos. And then it hit her. Dana was the substitute teacher from Lily's kindergarten. The one who always smiled too brightly. The one who touched her husband's arm a little too long during school events. The one she barely noticed. Until now. She remembered the strange feeling she'd had once at pickup, when Dana waved at her husband, not her. It seemed innocent at the time, but now it made her skin crawl. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. Instead, she waited, watched, learned more. Dana lived alone, just a few streets away. A single woman in her early 30s, always dressed nice, always looking polished. She had no children, no husband, and apparently no shame either. One afternoon, after picking Lily up from school, she drove straight to Dana's house. Her hands were steady, but her chest felt like it was cracking. She knocked. Dana answered with a sweet smile, then froze. "Hi," she said calmly. "I think we need to talk." Dana tried to play confused. "Oh, is everything okay with Lily?" "No," she said, still keeping her voice low. "But this isn't about Lily." For a moment, Dana stood silently. Then she stepped aside and let her in. The house was clean, cozy. No signs of guilt, no signs of regret. They sat across from each other like two strangers sharing a secret. Dana started softly. Look, I never meant to hurt anyone. She said nothing, just stared. I didn't chase him. He came to me, Dana continued. I told him to tell you the truth. Still, silence. Then Dana's tone changed. Her eyes narrowed. If he was really yours, she said coldly, he wouldn't have come to me. Something inside her snapped, but not in a way that showed. She didn't scream. She didn't throw anything. She simply stood up and said, "Thank you for confirming." As she walked out of that house, she wasn't broken. She was awake. The pain was there, yes, but beneath it, something colder was growing, stronger, sharper. This wasn't just betrayal anymore. It was personal, and it wasn't over. Not yet. She didn't yell. She didn't cry in front of him. She didn't ask him why. After walking out of Dana's house, she stayed quiet. Her heart was broken, but her face showed nothing. She decided she would not leave right away. Not because she wanted to stay, but because she wanted him to feel what it meant to be broken, slowly, the way he broke her. The next morning, she searched for a lawyer. She found one far from town so no one would recognize her. She told the lawyer everything. He advised her to collect proof about the cheating, the money, and everything else. She agreed. She would not shout. She would prepare. She went to the bank alone, opened a new account under her name only. Each week, she moved a little money into it. Not too much, just enough to be safe. She kept every receipt and hid the paperwork under the floorboard in the closet. Then she bought cameras, small ones. She placed one in their bedroom and another inside his car. She made sure they were hidden well. Every day, she checked the recordings. Every lie he told was captured. Every call, every meeting, every moment. At home, she smiled. She acted normal. When he made jokes, she smiled back. When he talked about work, she listened. She didn't show anger. She didn't ask questions. She cooked, cleaned, took care of Lily, and gave him no reason to doubt her. He believed she was the same woman, the same wife. He was wrong. He became careless. He spent more time texting. Some nights, he left for hours with weak excuses. He would say it was work or a friend, but she already knew. Dana, and maybe others too. One day, while she and Lily were at school for a parent event, the camera at home caught Dana walking into their house. She walked straight into their bedroom like she belonged there. He let her in without guilt. That was the moment the pain inside her turned to ice. She saved every file, every photo, every text. She put them on a drive, locked it in a small box, and hid it with her papers. She wasn't just waiting for the right time. She was preparing it. Her silence wasn't weakness. It was the beginning of her revenge. One night, after Lily had fallen asleep, she sat alone in the dark, going through the secret phone again. She had already seen more than enough. Messages with Dana, photos, call logs. But something told her there was more, so she kept digging, opening folders and hidden chats. That's when she saw the name, Maya, her own sister. Her hands started shaking. She clicked the messages, hoping it was just friendly talk, something harmless. But the texts were filled with flirtation, late-night messages, inside jokes. A photo she remembered from the last family reunion, her husband and Maya standing too close, laughing. Then the truth hit her like a punch to the chest. One message from him read, "That night was a mistake, but I can't stop thinking about it." And Maya replied, "It was just once." No one needs to know. She felt like the floor disappeared under her. Dana was a stranger, but Maya, her sister, the girl she grew up with, shared secrets with, defended in front of their parents, her own blood. The betrayal cut deeper than anything else. This wasn't just cheating. This was treason. She had lost her marriage, and now she realized she never really had her sister either. She stared at the screen, numb. She didn't cry. There were no more tears left, only a burning anger that spread through her body like fire. She thought about every time Maya hugged her, every time she smiled and said, "You're so lucky to have him," every time she held Lily, kissed her on the cheek, and called herself auntie. It was all fake. And just like that, something inside her changed. She stopped hoping for explanations. She didn't care why they did it. She didn't want apologies. She wanted them to hurt, all of them. She whispered to herself in that dark room, "They're going to pay, every single one of them, slowly, silently, just like they did to me." No one would see it coming. Not the man who thought he had fooled her, not the woman who thought she was better, and not the sister who smiled while stabbing her in the back. They thought she was weak. They were wrong. A whole year passed, but she didn't forget a single detail. She smiled through every family dinner, laughed at her husband's dumb jokes, let Maya braid Lily's hair like nothing had happened. She acted like the perfect wife, the loving sister, the woman who knew nothing. But every smile was fake, every hug calculated. Her silence was just a mask, hiding a storm. Lily's 7th birthday was coming, and this time, it wouldn't be like the last one. This one wouldn't end in confusion. It would end in truth. She planned everything carefully, booked a beautiful venue, a garden hall just outside the city, bright balloons, themed decorations, cakes taller than Lily. She hired a magician to keep the kids busy and a videographer to capture the memories. Her husband smiled, proud of her effort. Maya called it sweet. Dana even texted a fake, "Can't wait to see you" message. They had no idea. Everyone was invited, family, friends, neighbors, even Lily's classmates. She made sure Maya would be there, sitting front row with fake love in her eyes. Dana, too. She invited her out of forgiveness. Her husband thought everything was fixed. He thought she had moved on. He was wrong. On the day of the party, everything looked perfect. Music played. Kids ran around with painted faces. Parents clapped as the magician pulled out silly tricks. And she stood there, smiling for photos, thanking guests, holding Lily's hand like nothing was wrong. Then, when the room was full and the magician asked if anyone had a special story to share, she stepped forward, microphone in hand. Her voice was calm, gentle, but her words, sharp like a knife. She looked around and said, "Last year, my daughter said something that broke this family. This year, I want everyone to know the truth she saw." She gave a nod, and the projector came on. Everyone turned, and then silence fell. Photo after photo, message after message, video after video, from the hidden phone, from the camera in their bedroom, from the car. Maya's face went pale. Dana froze. Her husband stood up trying to stop it, but it was too late. The celebration was over. The reckoning had just begun. In the middle of the party, right after the magician made a toy bunny disappear, he smiled and asked, "Would anyone like to share a story to inspire the children?" That was the cue. She stood up, calm and smiling, holding the microphone like it weighed nothing, but her heart beat like a drum in her chest. This was the moment she had been waiting for all year. She looked around the room. Her husband was sitting with Lily, eating cake. Maya was laughing with one of the neighbors. Dana was scrolling through her phone in the corner, acting like she didn't have a care in the world. All of them so comfortable, so sure they were safe. She took a deep breath and said, "I have a story. It's not just for the children, but for everyone who forgot that children notice more than we think." People turned their heads, curious. A few smiled, expecting a sweet family tale, but she didn't smile back. Her voice stayed steady as she said, "Last year, on my daughter's 6th birthday, she opened a gift and cried. Then she whispered something that changed everything. She said, 'This is from the woman Daddy kisses when Mommy is asleep.'" Gasps filled the room. Guests glanced around, unsure if it was a joke. Then she walked over to the projector and pressed play. The screen lit up. The room went silent. One by one, the truth came out. Photos of her husband kissing Dana, text messages full of lies, flirty conversations with Maya, video clips from the hidden camera showing things no one expected to see. The proof was clear, loud and unbreakable. A woman in the back covered her mouth. Another shook her head in disbelief. Lily looked up, confused, but quiet. Her husband stood up suddenly, shouting, "This is insane! Stop this!" But nobody moved. Maya's face turned red. Dana tried to leave, but was blocked by a group of stunned guests. No one spoke. No one laughed. She stood there holding the mic, watching their world fall apart exactly how she planned. Because this wasn't just a party. This was the truth, finally speaking out. And the truth had a microphone. The silence after the video ended was thick. Everyone was frozen, eyes wide, mouths half open. Then her husband stood up, eyes darting from guest to guest. He tried to laugh it off at first. "Come on, you all know how these things can be edited. It's not what it looks like." No one believed him. He turned to Dana and pointed, "You told me you deleted everything. You said this would never come out." Dana's face twisted in anger. "Don't put this on me. You were the one sneaking around. I was just stupid enough to believe your lies." He turned to her then, the woman he married. "You set me up. You've been planning this for months, haven't you?" She didn't blink. She didn't yell. She just looked at him and said, "I gave you time to stop. I gave you chances to come clean. You chose lies. He tried again, weaker this time. It was only once with Maya. And Lily, she doesn't even know what she saw. Kids say weird things. Maya stepped forward, crying. Can we please talk? Just the two of us. But the guests were watching, some recording, some whispering. No one moved to give her privacy. She stood alone, ashamed. The woman nodded once and stepped forward. I want everyone to hear this, she said, voice calm and steady. I filed for divorce, full custody. The house is already sold. I'll be moving out with Lily. The money's going into a new life, one far away from all of this. Someone clapped quietly, then another. Not because they were happy, but because they understood. She wasn't just walking away, she was walking forward. Lily walked up to her, holding her hand. She didn't say anything at first, just looked up, small and serious. Then she asked, is the bad man going away now? She bent down, kissed her forehead and whispered, yes, baby, he's not part of our life anymore. And just like that, the chaos faded behind her. Lies had been exposed, ties were broken, and finally, she could breathe again. She uploaded the video late at night. No captions, no angry words, just the truth, raw and unedited. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about finally being heard. She didn't expect it to explode the way it did. Within hours, comments poured in. Within a day, it had crossed 1 million views. People shared it with captions like, this woman is a warrior, and every cheated wife needs to see this. But the ones that touched her most were the quiet, broken messages from women. Some just said, thank you. Others told their own stories, years of silence, pain, secrets. She realized she wasn't alone, and neither were they. The video became more than a confession. It became evidence. Her lawyer submitted it to court. Every message, every clip from the hidden camera, every whispered lie now stood against him. The judge saw it all. Her husband had no defense. He lost custody, the house, his job, everything. Dana's school found out too. A scandal like that, with children involved. She was gone by the end of the week. Maya. No one said anything to her directly, but the invitations stopped. The family group chat fell silent. At gatherings, she sat alone. Betrayal had a price. Through it all, the woman stayed quiet, not out of fear, out of peace. Her story had been told, her truth no longer buried. One morning, she packed up the last of her things, loaded Lily into the car, and drove away from that old life. They moved to a small beach town, nothing fancy, just calm waves, open skies, and fresh air. Lily enrolled in a new school. She started smiling more, drawing pictures of their new home with sunshine and hearts. The woman would walk the shore at sunset, sometimes with her daughter, sometimes alone, always free. She didn't need to tell people what happened. The ocean knew, the wind knew, and so did every woman who watched that video and saw a piece of herself in the quiet strength it held. She wasn't just a woman who was cheated on. She was the one who stood back up and walked away with her head held high. Lily's 8th birthday was quiet. No balloons, no guests, no music, just peace. The sun poured gently through the windows of their small beachside home. On the table sat a single wrapped box with a pink ribbon. Lily, now taller and calmer, picked it up and unwrapped it slowly. Inside was a bracelet, simple, handmade, just like the one from 2 years ago. Her fingers traced the small beads, the tiny heart charm in the center. She looked up at her mother, eyes shining with quiet understanding. This one, her mother said softly, is from someone who will never lie to you. Lily didn't say anything right away. She simply nodded, then smiled. Not the smile of a child who got a toy, but the smile of someone who knows they are safe. She leaned forward, closer to her mother's ear, and whispered, he's never coming back, right? Her mother looked at her and brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. She pulled her daughter in for a hug and whispered back, no, and he never will. Outside, the waves continued to roll in softly. The world was quiet, but it wasn't empty. It was full of truth, of healing, of love that didn't come with lies. For the first time in a long time, Lily's birthday didn't end in tears or whispers that broke hearts. It ended with peace, and that was the best gift either of them could ask for. Do you think she did the right thing by exposing them all on her daughter's birthday, or should she have handled it privately? Let me know in the comments. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. And if you want more stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video.